refresh my memory, last March, what does it take to put a committee together, or do we have something already in place at TriMet?
We actually have, and if you recall before, Lynn Larabach was very interested in that same issue, partly because he has the same issue on some of their truck side and how they approach those safety reviews. These safety reviews are conducted under the most stringent of standards by the National Transportation Safety Board requirements, how they in fact are evaluated. The standards that we use are very, very stringent. For example, the normal approach that is taken from an insurance standpoint in car activity is really, who's kind of in the right. Those are not the standards used here. It is it preventable? That is, we expect our operators, for example, at a stoplight, just because it turns green doesn't mean they get to go. They've got to look to make sure somebody isn't, for example, running a red light. And if they haven't done that, even though they clearly have the right-of-way in that case, for example, it would be considered to be a preventable accident. The review that was done that Sturdy referenced, I think maybe it'd be valuable for us to be able to kind of share with you the review of that, because it's really, as I recall, you will be enlightened by it, because it really was one that said, I think looked at it in a very detailed sort of way from a outsider perspective, and I think you'll be impressed by the results. So I'd ask that we do that at a future time.
In addition to that, Fred, could you also sort of give us an update or an overview on the level of training and the safety aspect? Because what I've heard from Ms. Stern, some pretty serious accusations, which I'm not suggesting that they're factual or non-factual, but I think it would be helpful at least to revisit that.
We would be happy to, and it's not the time to be able to tit for tat kind of discussion on the issue, but we'd be happy to be able to have that, and we will so schedule it.
Okay.
I do know that when there is an accident and it's not the driver's fault, then they don't have a third party look at it. When it's the driver's fault and they get written up, then a third party comes in and takes a look at it.
I also recall, maybe it was Steve Banta that detailed some safety enhancements, improvement in the whole program, I thought.
Absolutely.
That we had undertaken subsequent to, and I remember some of the enhancements include turning people toward the oncoming train and those kinds of things, and some of them I thought were at the stations that were cited. So
yes,
maybe at some point in time it might be good to, in a public forum, go through those and so we can determine whether they're the adequacy of them, I guess.
We will, in fact, include that in that briefing, and we'll look toward that in February.
Well, I'm afraid I was going to say what Rick said, because it's my understanding that we didn't only just change the Gresham station, we also looked and did some work in some other stations.
Many other stations, so yes.
That would be good, but
yes.
They did change the Gresham station, but you lost the guy. You lost another man on the same crosswalk. And in March, when Fred Hansen spoke down in Salem at the Senate, he said at that time they were starting to make those changes, but you had 8 months that went by, wasn't done, and you still lost that other life.
Let's be clear on this. Obviously, a fatality is a very, very serious issue. A number of changes have been made at that platform. There were lights flashing, signage that said stop. The one additional step that was put in place post that fatality were what are called bedstead gating, which essentially is the routing of people so that they will be facing. In the case of the fatality, as unfortunate as it was, the bells were ringing, the lights were flashing, the horn by the operator, in fact, was being used to be able to warn the individual, and the individual continued to run. The Multnomah County Medical Examiner concluded that in the analysis that we don't know what role this played, but it was a .06 alcohol level, and did that play a role in the accident? I'm not to speculate, but that is something that is obviously an issue as well. safety issue and will continue to do so. But I think you'll have a chance to be able to hear in a much broader context all the steps that have been taken, and they really have been an incredible number of steps that have been taken.
Sue?
I have a question. We have a citizens committee that reports to us every year on a number of different topics, and what I'm not familiar with is how do they get to pick those topics, or can we request that they add a topic or not look at a topic? Is this something that could be one of the topics that they look at for this year?
It would be absolutely fine.
One of their topics. They select the topics, and it's one of their topics this year.
They did? But okay, I hadn't
Now,
realized it.
the level of review that they will get, might not be, that's not their only topic. They are
Exactly,
part of
but
the position
one of many that they're looking at.
Yes, but the focus is on the budget, but it is one of the topics that they have, and it is, I believe, the one we're doing next year.
Okay.
Okay.
That's inappropriate.
I just
Use of their time.
Just want to make one more comment. On the Gresham Station, they did have where it's sound, but at the time we were in Salem, they were going to put that channelization in because they know that you have to back to the train. So that was what you had said they would do, even though they had already had the bells there for the last couple of years. I just appreciate you. Thank you very much. And my phone number is there. Please give me a call. I've got a lot of information that might be able to help you.
Okay, thank you.